And welcome back, YouTube. It's 6:12 p.m. It's still Tuesday, April 18th, 2023, and I'm back in my car. I really don't feel whole when I'm separated from this car, unless, of course, I have another car that I like. But just these days I don't have this car. I just feel like an essential part of myself is missing. So yeah, I still need to figure out what the hell to do to request a tax filing extension. I'm hoping to God I can do it online, because otherwise I don't know, and I'm hoping I can find somebody at work that's knowledgeable about that sort of thing. And I suppose the intelligent thing to do would have been to just, Google it, try to figure out how to do it online. But I don't know. Priscilla had been saying that she was going to come over and help me with that. And the big standstill is I don't have my daughter's Social Security number. And I had that one day that I went to the Social Security office to try to handle that. And that was just kind of disastrous and put me in a really bad state mentally when they were not helpful. And I haven't really followed up on it since. It just really messed me up. So far the car hasn't tried to stall out. That's a good thing. The air conditioning isn't fixed. So as I mentioned in the last little itty-bitty video, I did talk to Rob a little bit on the phone over at the 44th Street light rail station. I could barely hear him. Yeah, Obamaphone 4 is, and I've mentioned this several times, but it's an absolutely awful device. All in all, it's not as nice as Obamaphone 3 was. And one of the many reasons that it's not, I may sit and give a full review of the thing, but I'm not going to do that. Nobody watches this YouTube channel for phone reviews. Anyway, the phone is it's very difficult to hear on. Like, it doesn't matter how much you turn it up. It's just, I did see I was going to have a traffic issue here, and I should have been more expectant of it. Of course, from what I saw, it's going to loosen back up once I get on the other side of 16th Street, 12th Street, more or less. So, just for some reason, when I came this way, I was like, oh, there's no traffic this way, and I forgot that there was a little standstill here. I did check traffic before I started shooting video, which is why there was the gap between Rob's shop and where I actually started shooting video. There is heavy traffic on the 10, but it's early enough that I think I'm just going to get off at Van Buren and take Van Buren across. That's my plan. But yeah, there's this little slowdown here, which is already starting to break up. This showed clear all the way to the stack. So as I was saying, it's very difficult to hear on Obamaphone 4, which is an ANS ACK something, ACK, I forget the numbers that go after it. I have had a couple video descriptions. I've gone into the properties and put the actual model of phone in, but I whatever it is, I can't remember it to save my life. And the other day I had some program tell me it was something different. Like, I logged into the mysterious login from blah 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 new device, and it described it as something else. And I've seen that description couple of times. So all the fun things you discover when you're using these really weird off-brand budget phones that most people have never heard of, that are not really sold on the mainstream market. They're just marketed specifically to government free phone programs. Anyway, yeah, very difficult to hear on it. I turned it all the way up, and it's very difficult to hear like other stuff on it as well. Now I'm not sure. I would assume it's got a little speaker thing, earpiece near where my ear goes when I'm talking on it. I would assume, but as far as like for playing video on it, listening to music, just whatever. It only has one speaker, so it doesn't have stereo output on it. And that, interestingly enough, it definitely records in stereo. As I've noticed on videos I record in it, I can definitely hear a stereo effect. I can hear when I move my head from one side of it to the other when I'm talking, which is honestly a little unsettling, but it does that, which is odd to have stereo microphones and not have stereo speakers. Like, I think if I was to design a budget phone, I would go in the other direction with that. Yeah, the one speaker, it's not very loud. Doesn't matter how loud I turn it up. It's very, very quiet. And then the worst thing is it's a singular speaker on the back of the phone facing backwards towards the lower middle of the phone. So yeah, not only is the one speaker inadequately loud, but it's facing away from it. So I find myself, like, when I'm wanting to even when I'm alone in my bed, like, I'm alone at home in bed, like, there's no other sound that I'm trying to drown out with it. And I still oftentimes have to make the decision, do I want to be able to see the video, or do I want to be able to hear the video? And in most instances, I decide I want to be able to hear the video, so I end up laying the phone down with the screen facing into a pillow and the speaker up. Otherwise, if I lay it down with the speaker down into the pillow and the screen facing up, I absolutely cannot hear it. So yeah. Which is not the issue I'm dealing with today. That's an issue I deal with this stupid thing like every day. Which is funny. I find myself at home on videos I'm not watching intently, actually using Obamaphone 3 a lot, because while the screen is really messed up on it, at least I can hear it and look at the screen at the same time. And that one's notably louder. Because at this point, if you haven't heard yet, I can no longer unlock the screen on my iPhone. I can see push-through messages. So I knew Rob was trying to call me today on it, and I knew he was trying to text me today on it, which of course I couldn't text him back. Now, granted, I could have picked up the... I've been trying to call him on this, and he hasn't been answering my calls. So I could have... Granted, I could have texted him back on this. I don't know. I was trying to call him earlier, and then... I keep having this thing where I get to sleep at a reasonable hour, and then I wake up like in the middle of the day, noon-ish, and I'm not rested enough. So I try really hard to get back to sleep, and it sometimes takes me a couple hours to get back to sleep. I end up taking a nap, and then it's kind of a struggle to wake up on time. And mind you, on time for taking transit to work is between about 4 and 4:30. I mean, waking up on time pretty much I had to be up and moving by 4. I can almost buy an hour on that using the scooter subscription, using a Lime scooter, which worked really. I did that again today. That worked really well. I think my ride was only about 9 minutes. Obviously, I can't while I'm driving open that shit up in the app. Oh, and the app is on Obamaphone 4, which is what I'm shooting a video on right now anyway. But,
But then you got to realize the
I need to
government
hear
is
this.
going to hold your money until you file that tax return. So then if you owe money, that's where the penalties can kick in. And we don't want people paying penalties.
And nobody wants to pay a penalty. So let's say that somebody knows they're not.
I know they're
finished
definitely
tonight.
paying me
So
back.
they find that extension form, and that's online on the IRS website?
IRS.gov, right on the top left. I checked today, so I made sure I knew what I was talking about.
Thank
and
you,
there's a button that
KTAR.
says file an extension.
Okay.
And everyone can do it for free, no matter what income level you're at.
But if they think they're going to owe some money, that has to go in anyway. They need to go ahead and send that money in, correct? Just not the paperwork.
And you can do that tonight. So let's say tonight you know you're not going to finish your return.
And
you go to
I'm still
IRS.
stalling out.
And while you're there, it'll actually let you make an estimated payment. Because what we don't want people to be is under withheld. Because if you owe money, that's when the two penalties could kick in, the failure to file penalty and the failure to pay penalty. But if you do the extension, you're not going to have the failure to file penalty.
Okay. Now, and as you said a moment ago, if you're due a refund and you don't get stuff in tonight, you're not going to get penalized. You'll just be later getting your refund.
Right. There's no penalty for filing late if you're due a refund. But then, interest rates are up, and the government's holding your money. And, a lot of times people actually forget to file, and the government,
Why this
after
guy's
about 3
driving
years,
25 miles an
you
hour?
forfeit your right to get that tax withholding.
So what if somebody says, this is too confusing, I'm not filing this? What happens?
Well, like I said, it all depends if you owe or not. The failure to file penalty is 5% of the tax owed each month, and that can go up for 5 months. And then the failure to pay penalty is generally about
Right, dude, you can do it.
0.5%. But these can add up. Like, you could be paying up to $400 on one of these. And it's just, it's just sort of unnecessary. So let's say you need more time and you didn't do this. I think the best thing to do is pay as much as possible, and you want to just stop the clock. You want to reduce the amount of interest, because it's just, you're paying interest on money that's not, you're not even getting anything out of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the clock is ticking. Got to get it finished. You can e-file. You can pay online. It's simpler than ever. And
Oh, yeah, that woman is
Special Agent
totally
Brian
playing
wants to
with
give
her
us that
phone.
website one more time so we can put it up on our website. And if anybody is just confused about how to maybe do that extension tonight, they can go there and get the info.
Very simple. IRS.gov. IRS.gov.
All right.
Yeah, she's
Special
busy
Agent
playing
Brian
with her
Watson
phone.
with the IRS Phoenix Field Office. Thank you for joining us on Tax Day 2023. We appreciate it.
That's why she was driving
If you'd like
so
to hear more,
slow
or you
and
wanna find that website, go to
turned right into the wrong lane and cut me off. And
Evening News Podcast.
yeah, she's holding her phone. I can see it, and her face is like straight down in the phone.
Campus is holding a hiring event for jobs throughout the hospital. It's tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5, with sign-on bonuses of up to $10,000 available for select full-time positions.
Yeah, I highly doubt I qualify for a $10,000 signing bonus from anybody.
Announced it was laying off more than 9,000 workers.
Well, I'm glad they said on the radio how to go about filing for an extension. I know Priscilla helped me a little bit with my tax stuff. She did tell me a couple of different scenarios, and all of them involved me getting a refund, so I don't have to worry about interest or penalties. So that's something I need to. It's just a matter of I'm just delaying the time in which I'll get that money back, which is fine. I need to make sure I have all my information when I file it. So, oh, good. That's good. One less thing I gotta stress about. Damn, I get the sun right in my face. It's one thing I've really enjoyed about not driving this last week. It was not driving with the sun in my face. So yeah, obviously he hasn't figured out the issue with the car stalling out. He did say he still needed a fuel pump. Said the issue with the air conditioning. He said he tried to put Freon in it, and that it blew a pressure hose. He said where the hose was. I don't remember now. So, debating as to whether I want to go to Taco Bell or whether I want to go to Del Taco. It's a couple miles out of the way to Del Taco. It's 6:27. I go to Taco Bell. I mean, I'm not really tight on time. 6:27. I'm not really tight on time getting to work, but I do remember the last time I went to that Del Taco. It took forever to get to the drive-thru. So, not trying to be late to work today.
Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. What can I get you?
Yeah, could I get 2 beefy melt burritos and 3 cheesy bean and rice burritos?
Beefy melt burritos, 3 cheesy bean and rice burritos?
Yes.
Anything else for you?
No, that'll be it for me.
Would you like any sauce?
No.
Would you like to round to $8 to children with their education?
I'm sorry, what?
Would you like to round to $8 to eat your children with their education?
Oh my God, I'm hoping I have enough gas in the tank to get to work, man. No.
How about we round down my change because my ass is broke. Really surprised Priscilla hasn't come by since I have that $120 I owe her. Like I figured for sure she'd swing by to get that, but it hasn't happened yet. She knows I haven't had my car. Of course, she's been trying to call me too, and my phone's, jacked. So I got a super weird text from my daughter I didn't really understand. Thank you. I'm so hungry. I haven't really ate today at all. I haven't been eating. I really haven't been eating enough lately. It's always a struggle when I'm not driving to eat. Thank you. All right. No left-hand turn. I wonder how the hell I'm gonna get that way from here.
Good Tuesday evening. It's 6:31. I'm the governor, and I have executive authority, and I'm going to use it. Governor Hobbs set a new record today.
Wow.
The Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, who then will choose one from that list of 3 that come out of this meeting.
A surprise from last night's meeting to select a replacement for an ousted state lawmaker. And the Suns are facing what amounts to a must-win game in the NBA playoffs. playoffs tonight. We're going to get a live report from Footprint Center in just moments. But right now, let's get you home. Chuck Rose in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Becky Lynn. Just as we were going on here, I spotted a little slow spot on the I-17 southbound at about Bell Road. I believe there was some debris in the road there, so we may have ADOT and or the DPS running a traffic break to get that cleared.
I saw a dead end sign, but I couldn't tell if it was pointing to the right or to the left. It was pointing to the left.
Avenue, that earlier crash in the clearing stage is off to the right side. I-10 westbound at Fairway Drive, there was a crash off left. I never did get eyes on this, but I am still seeing delays starting back at the 101 interchange. The I-10 eastbound at Casablanca Road, if you're heading down toward Pinal County, looks like
I think this is Washington Street here.
Just a small little spot of slowing there. New Wreck at Peoria Avenue at 31st Avenue, Lower Buckeye Road at 55th Avenue. Watch for a crash there, and still dealing with a bad wreck.
In fact, I recognize this intersection coming up.
I'm Chuck Rowe, KTAR News.
This is down by where I had that interview to work in that warehouse for Penske, which of course I didn't get that job. That whole interview just felt super awkward to me. I don't know, about all I learned out of that is if part of the hiring process is me having an interview, I'm probably not going to get the job. I don't interview well.
Purple and orange, there's an air of excitement despite that disappointing loss that happened over the weekend. Chris is a Suns fan who's optimistic about how this series will turn out.
I just think when the Suns hit fire on all cylinders,
Burrito's really getting the spot. Although I wish I had a drink right now. I already used my Sip and Save drink this morning
And Omari
on the
thinks
way
his
home.
favorite player, Devin Booker, is going.
I didn't even really use it.
How many points did Devin Booker get tonight?
Let's see where that warehouse was. I could have sworn it was on the
They are
street.
going to win then. Israel says
What I had to interview on.
test for the Suns, and he expects them to bounce back.
Yeah, I think that Monty Williams is going to have a great plan. We cannot go down 2 games to the Clippers, so I think today.
It's good to know the Suns are in the playoffs. I really have not followed basketball at all this year. I think this goes through all the way to 43rd Avenue. It's been a while since I've taken this as a back road. I love how there's still spur freight rails in that area. I don't know how many of any places actually use them, but I dig that they're still there. The truck is so much larger than any passenger vehicle needs to be.
I came here to solve real issues for Arizonans.
Governor Katie Hobbs.
But that's mostly what she's done.
Bills vetoed in a single session.
As of today, Governor Hobbs has vetoed more than 60 bills. The previous record was set in 2006 by the state's last Democratic governor, Janet Napolitano, with 58 vetoes. That record could get higher as there are still several weeks left before the legislative session ends in June. Senate Republicans call this, quote, weakness and a lack of leadership from the ninth floor, end quote. Taylor Kinnerup, KTAR News.
3 names have been selected to replace ousted State House Representative Liz Harris, and one of them is Harris herself. The other nominees selected by the Legislative District 13 Precinct Committee members.
New governor just vetoing everything that hits her doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Party Chair Jeff DeWitt explains where this all goes from here.
American County Board of Supervisors, who then will choose one from that list of 3 that come out this week.
A number of Liz Harris's supporters were outside of the meeting in Chandler. Harris was expelled from the Arizona House when she invited a conspiracy theorist to a February committee meeting. A new center at the Perryville prison will give more incarcerated women a second chance at a career once they're released back into the community.
Through a grant from Maricopa County, the Televerde Foundation has expanded its workplace development center inside the prison. Michelle Sirocco with the foundation explains they help incarcerated women learn the necessary skills to re-enter the workforce and community.
We've partnered with Arizona State University's W.P. Carey School of Business to help develop programming, and we have professors teaching business fundamentals and business communications.
The center will now be able to train and graduate 150 women each year. Taylor Tessler, KTAR News.
Phoenix wants...
But no mention at all of the fact that most employers will not hire somebody with a felony conviction, no matter what kind of education program they've been through. No mention of that at all. No mention of that situation being addressed.
Phoenix will receive $41 million over the course of 18 years. The reason we want to start with these conversations determine how best to use these limited dollars.
Still some kind of legal limitation is put on that.
If you'd like to learn more, just go to phoenix.gov/health. Fox News is shelling out nearly $800 million to settle its defamation case with Dominion Voting Systems. According to the suit, the news outlet accused Dominion of interfering with the 2020 election.
Dominion's lawsuit against Fox stated that Fox knew it was false, knew that these allegations were false, and yet continued to broadcast these false items.
KTAR host and Valley attorney Barry Markson says Fox had previously lost several court rulings that found they knowingly broadcast false information. This comes as the trial was set to begin this week.
KTAR News. Eyes on Education.
After cutting chronic absenteeism in half, Buckeye Elementary School District is making sure those students don't fall behind over the summer. Superintendent Christy Wilson explains the goal is to provide students with academic support through summer enrichment and tutoring programs, as well as
making sure that we include parents, caregivers, and students themselves, because oftentimes we just don't want to lose the opportunity to ask questions about what's on their mind in terms of barriers or challenges.
She stresses intervening now can prevent chronic absenteeism from continuing next year. And at 6:39, we have new details in the shooting of a teen in Kansas City who accidentally went to the wrong house.
Incredibly, 16-year-old Ralph
This is a crazy
is
story.
home from the hospital after being shot in the head and left with a fractured skull when he went to the wrong house to pick up his sibling. Police say the 84-year-old homeowner shot Jarl through a glass door and then again as he lay wounded on the ground. Faith Spoonmore is Jarl's aunt and says his injuries are extensive.
But he's healing and he's alive.
She says Jarl went to 3 neighboring homes to get help but kept getting turned away.
Finally, at the 3rd house, he was able to get help. However, he was told to put his hands up and get on the ground.
The homeowner accused of shooting Jarl is charged with felony assault and armed criminal action. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Gas is getting even more expensive as we head toward summer.
You
that's
can blame
great.
OPEC Plus's recent cut in production, causing oil prices
Oh, man,
to go
I did
up,
it
mixed
again.
with more states switching to pricier summer blends of gasoline and increasing demand for travel during spring
Turned right
break
on
and heading toward
59th
the summer.
Avenue from
But
Van
bottom line,
Buren,
we're all paying more.
thinking I
The
was
Energy
on,
Department reports in the past week the average price of regular unleaded went up 7
Thinking.
cents on top of a 10-cent rise a week ago. Now the average is at $3.66 a gallon. Still, though, 40 cents a gallon less than a year ago at this
I
time.
wish it was $3.66 a gallon here. It's damn near $5 a gallon here.
Governor Hobbs set a record with her pen today. We'll tell you more about that and check in for your ride home. KTAR News Time, 6:40.
Get the Valley's most interesting and most important news stories free from the Edward R. Murrow award-winning KTAR news team at KTAR.com. No subscription fees and no KTAR.com.
Hey, why should you choose Sweet James Accident Attorneys if you're hurt in a
6:41.
car, motorcycle, or trucking accident? I'll let the results speak for themselves. Here are some of
My
the
clock says
settlements
it's
won for injured victims
7:56.
by the attorneys at Sweet James. $29 million won for a client hurt in a multiple vehicle accident.
It reset when it died last week, which is after work on Monday morning, like Sunday night, Monday morning. So about a week and a half ago.
If you're hurt in an accident and results matter to you, call the attorneys at Sweet James. Pay nothing until they win. They can't guarantee outcomes of any case, but it's important to have an experienced and successful law firm on your side.
It's actually fine that I'm going this way. I've got enough time, and I want to stop by Circle K and get myself something to drink. Even though I don't have another Sip and Save drink coming, that's still... Our fountain drinks are still a better deal than QT.
It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack. So they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.
Oh, sorry, I got no focus today. So, yeah, obviously the stalling out problem, still not fixing the car. The air conditioning, still not fixing the car. Rob wants to see me tomorrow. Obviously needs money for parts, which I haven't been able to bring him money because I haven't had a vehicle. It's kind of a catch-22 that I get into sometimes. Or sometimes he calls me and he just comes and, you know, picks me up and runs me to the bank. But, yeah, right now I'm kind of hard to reach because I can't answer my phone because my phone is jacked up. Yeah, I was going to say more about how I've been getting to working back the last couple of days. And it's, as you know, it's been the scooter thing and the transit thing. The most notable thing is the older woman that I work with that I've mentioned I find pretty attractive, but that I talked about one time that I sat and talked with her after work. I know that was kind of the focus of one of my vlogs, where I'd said that previously I got really upset and yelled at her at work, and it's killing me. I can't remember her name, and it doesn't matter. You know, it's not really relevant anyway. But anyway, she gave me a ride home most of the way. Like, I think she'd have probably given me a ride all the way home, but I didn't want to put her out like that. So she said she lives near like the 51 freeway in Glendale. So I just had her do her regular drive home, except I had her get off the freeway at Thomas, off the 51 freeway at Thomas, and just let me off right there so she could pop right back on the freeway. And I took the Thomas Road bus home, which drove right by me. That was fucking fabulous. Yeah, so I walked to the bus stop there by the 51 freeway, and I'm standing there, and I'm trying to open the Valley Metro app just to see how long I'll be waiting for the bus. And as I'm doing that, bus drives right by me, doesn't even slow down. God, I get so sick of the buses doing that. I don't understand why they do that so much here. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, and I don't think I'm going to shoot video between here and work, because obviously I'm like, my train of thought is just crap for trying to do one of these. But anyway, thanks for coming with me on the ride to work.